The impression, the only thing that really ever happened here of any importance was that famous 30-second gunfight at the OK Corral.
Yeah.
Trust me, a lot more happened here than that. Tombstone did become one of the roughest, toughest boom downs in American history. Now, I say boom down because Tombstone and the whole area around here was about mining for silver. So we do give a fellow now by the name of Ed Shefflin credit for being the original founder of Tombstone. So we're going to say Ed was like a lot of folks from 1850 till the start of the boom time of Tombstone, 1877. Going to go out and find their fortunes in precious metals. So they become a prospector. That's exactly what Ed did now. In his early 20s, started prospecting for gold. Well, he didn't do too good at it. He kept it up for 6 years, never found a claim. I always figured this is where he was going to school, because it did take a lot of knowledge about geology, rock formations, especially with the tools they had back then to be successful at that. Ed arrived here in this part of the country known as the San Pedro River Valley, still is today, early 1877. Reason for him coming here, he was going to prospect for silver. Boy, the second guy had ever tried that in this part of the country. Also, folks, you got to remember where you're at right now. This was all Apache Indian country. Anybody ever hear of Cochise? This is where he called home, right here. So the more settlers that were coming here at that time, the more Apache raids that were going on. This was their country. They didn't want us here. But it got bad enough, our government decided, okay, we're going to put a temporary fort here, which they did. Didn't build it here. They went 20 miles to the south of here and built Fort Huachuca. That was the Apache word for Thunder Mountain. Didn't end up being temporary, though, because today Fort Huachuca still is one of the largest training facilities for all branches of our military still today. All this going on, Ed, he starts prospecting all these washes and hills around here for silver. Now, at first, he'd stay at Fort Huachuca, and he'd go out with the soldiers looking for under patrols, looking for the Apache camps, and he'd try to prospect during that time, so he had some protection out there. Protection was going pretty good. Prospecting wasn't. That's what he was here for. So he knew that he took off and went and found the first mines ever found here, way back in 1850, the first silver ever found in this part of the country by a man named Broncow. Broncow mine still remains 6 miles to the south here. They're all played out, and so were they when Ed got there. But still, 3 abandoned cabins did remain there then. So Ed would use those 3 abandoned cabins whenever he wasn't out here prospecting. He'd go back there for a little R&R. He had some protection there also. Every so often he'd run a little low on supplies. Basic stuff, you know, coffee, bacon, flour, whiskey, whatever, that's basic stuff, right? I know it's no big deal for us. We just go buy some. But back in 1877, where the folks around this part of the country were getting most of their supplies, was Tucson. Tucson in those days, folks, was a 2 to 3 day ride on a good horse one way. Didn't have air conditioning either. That didn't have to do that. The soldiers would help out with what they needed. But every time those soldiers would run into Ed out here prospecting, wherever they'd run into him, they were always constantly giving him a bad time. They were always telling him, really, Ed, you're still out there all by yourself with 2 mules and all these mad Apaches around here? Well, Ed always told me he thought it was well worth the risk because the stone was showing him such good color for silver. Soldiers told him, Ed, just a matter of time, the only stone you're going to find out there is your tombstone, Ed. By 18, you think I'm leading up something now, don't you? So by 1878, Ed had found several silver samples. Knew they were good. He'd been doing this a long time. But not really how good until he finally got up to a professional assay office. There they told him, Ed, you're right. Most of these samples we tested for you are good enough any mining company would want to buy these claims. But for sure, your best one we tested at $15,000 a ton in silver. Silver back then was $1.89 an ounce. That's like pure silver he's picking up. Nice thing is, if you are prospecting for silver and you do find it, is the geology given, always gold with it. They told him $1,200 to $1,500 a ton in gold. So when Ed hit it big, he knew it. Right to Tucson he went, to the claims office. He made a legal claim on that, and he named it the Tombstone claim. Because the soldiers giving him such a bad time. So 1878, we finally got it done, making this a legal town, taking Ed Shefflin's first mining claim, naming the town after it, Tombstone. Yes, sir. That's how it all got going here. Tombstone, Arizona, a town too tough to die. Nobody's ever heard that, have you?
Nope.
The reason for that is this: there were several bars in Tombstone by 1881. This particular, and I'll get to how many there was in the later tour, but this particular bar, now we're on 4th Street here, sat up on 5th, between 5th and 6th Street, and it was named the Arcade Bar. Bartender there got a bad cake of whiskey from the brewery, right? Well, he already served some of that. By golly, he sure wanted a refund for what's left in there. No problem, he goes and finds his tool, he stretches it out, he's measured there. Well, then the tool slips out of his hand, drops to the bottom of a keg of whiskey. Now he wants his tool back, right? Goes and finds a piece of wire, puts a hook in it. He just standing there fishing for it, cigar in his mouth. I don't know how he did this. But history said in 1881, he got that keg of whiskey on fire, and in a domino effect, burned half a Tombstone to the ground.
Oh my God.
They already had a volunteer fire department over here by 1880. We'll roll by it a little bit later. At least them boys really worked hard to save the other half of town. Good they put that much effort into it, because next year, in 1882, the other half of town burns down.
Oh my God.
So they ended up having 2 major fires, 81 and 82, each time they rebuilt. That's how we got to be known as a town too tough to die. I bet you thought everybody was shooting each other all the time. That's why. One more thing, across the street you'll see that open door. Behind that open door, by 1885, used to set some of the finest furnished rooms you could stay in during that time period. In behind all those nice rooms, there was a big empty courtyard. Well, here comes a young Scottish bride, freshly married from Scotland, with a sprig of rose tree from there. She's married to a mining engineer, and they're staying over there. She took that sprig of rose tree, 1885, planted it in that courtyard. Today, the base of that's over 6 foot at the base. It's over 12 foot tall. It covers over 8,700 square feet. One plant still growing. So since 1947, Guinness Book of World Record, right through that door does set the largest rose bush on planet Earth.
It's too
It's always in full bloom in April. It's estimated over 2 million white roses on it.
Wow.
That's when the sun shines here in Tombstone, you know. People live around here call it the Shady Lady. Also, when that's in bloom, trust me, that's this town ever smells. So with that, we'll get rolling here and show you the rest of this town.